welcome to 𝗥𝗵𝗲 Show. Thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for always joining us. We always value your time and your company. Now, for most of you who don't know what the show is about, you're just tuning in while we talk about real estate and mindset. And my co-host Ria, she is going to be taking over the conversation. And she talks about real estate and I talk about mindset. So together, her and I, we bridge the gap so that you can achieve success in your lives. So I want to welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for always tuning in. My name is 𝗥𝗵𝗲.
My name is Ria.
And welcome
to
our
show. Today's topic is from the book of Robert Kiyosaki, Increase Our Financial IQ. And today's topic is increase our intrinsic value. So how can we increase our intrinsic value? There are three things that Robert discussed in this book. First, we put our house in order. And how do we do that? So he compared it to like a sailor program. So just like a sailor program, his boat for a storm, we need to start making our financial boat as well more seaworthy. That means we have to take a look at the 5 financial intelligences and ask ourselves, which intelligence do we need to work on right now? Which one needs the most work? Is it the knowledge about it? Or is it the income coming in? Is it how we store, we invest the income that's coming in, how we budget? So which one do we think we need most work on? Which one is my biggest problem? So if our biggest problem is income, that means we gotta find other ways to make more income. If our biggest problem is not knowing what to do with the income coming in, that means we've got to read on books. We've got to invest on ourselves. Otherwise, we may lose the income, we may lose the money. So which do we think is our biggest problem? Now, we need to focus on one financial intelligence first and address it right now. So a lot of us, we do not know, well, we have income. So a lot of us, for me, is I don't know what I do with the money coming in. So if that is the biggest problem, we have to address it. Address one. Don't address all 5 right away. Address one. Why? By focusing on one, I will ultimately improve all 5 intelligences. Why? Because they're all interrelated. All these 5 are interrelated. They are related. So that means if income, we need to make more income. Next, we got to budget the money coming in, right? Next, we got to protect the money coming in. Next, do we know what, do we invest it? What do we do with the money coming in? And do we have enough knowledge on financial intelligence? Now, we need to take our time learning a little every day. We have to remember that there is no golfer that became a professional in one day, not even Tiger Woods. They say to master one, it takes 10,000 steps just to master one kick. So that means we will have to put in our 10,000 hours just to master one topic, just to master, like a financial intelligence. By increasing our 5 financial intelligence, whether it's making more money, how we budget our money, how we protect our money, what do we do with our money? We invest, or we do not know anything. Our knowledge is poor, right? By increasing all this 5 financial intelligence, I am increasing my financial integrity and my own intrinsic value. When we increase our own intrinsic value, we should not fear. Nobody can take it away from us. Nobody can take it away from you. This will be with us forever until we die. It's like going to college. The education, the best gift that our parents can give to us is our education. It's our schooling. Nobody can steal that. Wherever we go, we can apply the knowledge that we have during those 4 years that we took in college. We can go apply a job. Nobody can take it away from us. So that means we can always find work because we have the college degree to work for somebody else. Next, after putting our house in order, is we need to invest in assets with intrinsic value. Investing in assets with intrinsic value. So according to Robert, we have to take another look at some of the criteria Warren Buffett uses to establish a business intrinsic value. And then for our own practice, we should start asking ourselves which businesses I am familiar with that meet the requirements. Remember, familiar, that I have knowledge that I know of. I just don't go with the majority. I don't go with the herd. This is what I know, what I am familiar with. Now, Robert talks about intrinsic value of the real estate. This is one of the reasons why Robert Kiyosaki liked real estate, because real estate is able to see the houses. He's able to touch the houses. You can go there, you can touch the building, you can see the building, you can show it off. And importantly, Robert, you can control much of the property's intrinsic value. Now, I remember Warren Buffett says, it is not important that you own it, but it is important that you have control. Control of a business, control of the real estate, control of a property. So for example, what I mean by it, so when you buy a property, when you buy a house, that house, right, especially if you're growing your business, should not be on your name. Because people can sue you and they can take away the house. The house should be in an LLC, limited liability company. Now you say, oh, Ria, if the house is not in my name, but it's in an LLC, do I still own the company? Of course you do. You are the member, the manager of that LLC. And you still have the most important thing, the control of the LLC, which means you have the control of your asset, your real estate. So again, I stress the importance of control. Now, but always remember, most real estate is not a good investment. According to Robert, we always have to remember most real estate is not a good investment. Now, why? I believe why he say this, because it always depends on the person. The person, the knowledge of the person in terms of the location, the knowledge of the person in terms of running that particular business, right? How good is he in keeping high income? How good is that person in lowering down the expenses? So you could have a great investment. One person could have a great property in a great location, but that person may not know how to find tenants. That person may not know how to reduce the expense. That person may not know how to increase other incomes. Then even though you have a great property in a great location, this person does not know how, then forget about this great property in a great location. That property will not do you any good. It will not be a good investment. Because why? The control is on this person. And if this person does not know how to find a tenant, how to reduce the expenses, how to increase other incomes, that investment will not be a good investment. So Robert says a great exercise, regardless if I have money, if you have money, if we have money, is to look at the number of the properties and we analyze the intrinsic value of the property. And one of the beauties of real estate is creativity. Again, who has creativity? It's not the land, it's not the house, right? It's all about the creativity of the mind of that person. It's the mind. Just like Robert's Grant Cardone says, the biggest, or a lot of gurus said, the most expensive real estate, do you know what it is? The most expensive real estate is the real estate between our ears. This is the most important real estate, our brain, our mind. The most expensive real estate is between our two ears, our brain, our mind. Why? Because of the creativity that controls the real estate. For example, I can use, meaning the person, not the real estate, not the land, not the house. The person, can use creative financing. So for example, what is creative financing? A lot of times the bank would like 80-20% loan to value. Okay, so that means 80% is coming from the bank, 20% is coming from you. Now, if you do not have any money, this is where creative financing plays a role. So where can we get that money? So one, you could borrow it from your family. You could borrow it from your friends. You could borrow it from other lenders. You could borrow it from your partner. So that is one of the ways that we can do creative financing. Oh, another, you can borrow it from the seller. The seller, especially if the seller has no debt, they own the property 100%, your seller can do 100% financing. It's all about the negotiation that you have to do with the seller. Again, that is our brain, our mind, creative financing. Next, creative improvements. So what I mean by creative improvements, so for example, if you bought a home and it's a big house, but then there's only 2 bedrooms with 1 bathroom. Based on my experience, a lot of people need more bathrooms. So if you can find a nook, a small little space, right? And you can add a 2 bathroom. Now you have a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. That means you can either increase the rent, or if this is a fix and flip, then you can sell it at a higher amount. Because now you have a 2 bath instead of a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. That is what we call creative improvements. Aside from the bathroom, you can also improve on the kitchen. If it's an old kitchen, you can put a modern kitchen. But hey, don't go crazy, because to modernize a kitchen will cost you a lot of money. So probably You can take a look if you can repurpose your appliances, then good. Then what I would do next is tackle on kitchen countertop, which I usually try to improve on. Or if the countertop is good, right, but it's not granite, you don't have, can you put epoxy resin to it, which gives the look of a granite? Can you do epoxy resin on the countertop? So these are creative improvements. So I talked about the bathroom, I talked about the kitchen. Now what about improving the outside, the exterior of the house? So either landscaping, you can put flowers, lighting, right, into your property. So that's creative improvements. And so aside from creative financing, creative improvements, creative ways to increase the value of the property. And just like the ones that I mentioned, bathroom, modern kitchen, or just repurposing your countertop and putting an inexpensive epoxy resin, another way to increase the value of the property is, one, can I find a garage? Can I find a garage? Now, for example, in California, you have to know your state because every state is different. If you have a garage, or some people in California to turn their garage into another unit, you have to apply for a variance. You need to apply for permit when you do this. So know your local laws, ordinances, because it is possible. So you can turn a garage into like a studio apartment. You can turn a garage into like an efficiency type of an apartment. Now, if it is not allowed, right? If it is not allowed in your locality, in your state, then can you rent out your garage to somebody else, which increases your other incomes, right? Increases your other incomes. Is there a parking that you can rent out, which then increases the value of the property? Now, can you split? Can you split the land if it's the acres of land? If you have a big land, can you split the acres of land and probably sell the land, and then keep the house and the lot? So these are ways of increasing the value of the property. So let's say, for example, if you have 10 acres with a single house, right, you can subdivide it. And then you can either sell the house with a lot and then keep the land and then parcel it off to a builder, to a developer. Can you, rent out the lot with the house so that you have money coming in and then sell off the other acres of land? Now, creativity is not much of an advantage when pricing a stock or buying mutual funds. This is Wall Street. This is what we have been taught. Put our money into Wall Street. So creativity is not much of an advantage when buying a stock or mutual fund. Why? Why is that? Because again, the word control. We do not have control of the stock. We do not have control of the funds. We rely on others to control it for us. We pray that they do well, the fund managers do well, so that the stock or the mutual fund that we invest does well. They have the say of when they want to, what they want to do with the company. What we can control is only when we sell and when we buy. That's the control that we have. But control, when I say control, do we have control of what can we do with the company? No. The owner, right? The owner, the corporation has that control. We can only, have the control of selling and buying, but not the control of increasing the income of that business. But in real estate, creativity plus integrity can make one very, very rich. Creativity plus integrity can make one very rich. Another way of increasing our intrinsic value, increasing the real estate, is batten down the hatches. Batten down the hatches. As they taught Robert at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, when a storm approaches, it is time to batten down the hatches. That means we have to protect the integrity of the ship. We have to protect the integrity of the ship. Otherwise, the ship will go down. So what does that mean? Batten down the hatches. For me, for example, what I can share with you is that if you sell, so multifamily, if you have multifamily right now, and multifamily is getting affected by all this increase in rates, interest rates, right? As we know of. And so the cap rate when you sell right now is high. So what does that mean? Your selling price will not be that high as compared to when you buy it. So how can we batten down the hatches when we are in today's situation, when we have multifamily? That means we've got to protect our capital. How do we do that? Got to protect our capital. That means is that we have to put in our funds, our money. Why? Because the property still needs expenses. There are repairs to be done. We have insurance and taxes that needs to be paid. So at the meantime, this is what happened to me in 2011 during the 2008 housing crisis. And it's in my book, Apartment Prescription. We had a 2008 housing crisis. So I could only get 1,500 of rent from my condominium. And I have to put in, this is my pocket. I had to put in, this is my own money, 1,500 to keep my property, to keep my tenant in there. Why? Because the mortgage, all in the expenses, mortgage, the taxes, the insurance is 3,000. So in order for me to still keep the property, the way I battened down the hatches was I had to put in from my own pocket 1,500 per month. And I did this for a couple of years until I was able to refinance in 2017. And now, in 2024, the property value is way up now. So single family homes are doing well right now because of the supply. There's less supply with the single family homes. So the value of that property is way up. So I recouped my money. I protected my capital by putting in more money into the deal. I just have to do it. And that's what batten down the hatches that I understood. Batten down the hatches. This means that we protect the integrity of the ship. Otherwise, the ship will go down. It will sink. Chaos is going to increase. According to Robert, chaos is going to increase as industrial age ends and the information age takes control. As the oil price increase, the money, the dollar, the US dollar goes down. Now, China and India, other countries would start to produce cars and planes. Why? So for example, in the USA, we have, China and India manufacture the cars and planes and other goods, right? Because it is too costly. The labor and material here, more on the labor. This one is more higher. So we have to outsource it to other countries. So when China and India start producing cars and planes, the manufacturing jobs, so for example, in USA disappear. So what happens? Corporations, companies move offshore. They move to other countries. that would treat them better. That means there's less jobs in America. So when corporations move offshore, where's USA will hurt a lot. So baby boomers would expect to be taken care of by the government. A lot of the Americans expect that the government will take care of them. Now, terrorism would increase, according to Robert. Wars we cannot afford are fought. And that's true right now. There's a lot of wars going on. Russia, Ukraine, China. And we cannot afford to mingle with these wars, to join with the wars. I wish peace is here, because that's not good overall. And debt that has to be paid is increasing because of the word inflation. The cost to buy things, the cost of goods keeps on going up. And what do companies do? We rely on debt. We rely on borrowed money. So the debt that has to be paid continues to skyrocket. Problems previously swept under the rugs will be exposed. So if you have a debt, if you have a repair that you need to do on your roof, it's going to be exposed because the roof leak will continue to persist. It will persist. The debt will continue to be high. So now, all those problems that we try to forget, that we try to hide under the rugs, will now rise up. It will be exposed. So in the information age, according to Robert, information such as the 5 financial intelligence that we've been talking about, making more income, budgeting that money, that income, protecting that money, investing that money, and most importantly, getting the knowledge, the know-how, right? The 5 financial intelligence in the information age will be our greatest asset. Again, you are your greatest asset. Our brain is the most expensive real estate. So, my dear friends, let me know in the comment section below, what is your most important, one biggest single key takeaways from this topic, increasing our intrinsic value. Stay tuned for more of Ria and Alka show.
Yeah, you talked about repurposing the appliances. Well, what a lot of people are doing now with the new construction is that they're going, the appliance is actually more energy efficient. So in the new projects that are happening right now, this is what I'm seeing, they are gearing towards more energy efficient, and this leads to, you're lowering down your your tax bills, your utility bills. So I think that's just a great way. And with new technology, new construction, that's what's happening.
I agree with you. That's the new construction. If you have new construction, of course, it is very costly to be building things. So you don't want reused old stuff in there. So
right.
I would want brand new energy efficient appliances in there. But if you have a home, so for a lot of our listeners and viewers who are starting and can't afford to buy and build new properties, right? If our listeners and viewers purchase a home that's already been there and built, in the early 1900s, when they buy these properties, it's probably like a rundown where they have to put in a little bit of their money, and there's appliances in there. They do not have to get brand new ones. If those appliances are still working, then continue to use it until it dies down on them. That is what, just to reduce the cost, because it is very costly nowadays. And then what they do is find a tenant right away. Repair what needs to be repaired, and then find a tenant, a great tenant that's going to pay you. Because if a refrigerator shuts down and you don't have a paying tenant, boy, that money is coming from your own pocket.
Right, exactly. Well, I think, as everyone, being a landlord does come advantages and disadvantages. And, you and I have experienced, tenancy that, tenants, they come and they have their own set of rules. Now, I'm not sure about you, but it's like in Canada, it's not where I live in the province. It's not landlord friendly. It is absolutely terrible. You know the to evict a tenant takes 1 year, that process. So I think you and I, we know that whole process. We know what happens. And so, yeah, definitely get a tenant who, screen your tenants, screen them so that you know that they're going to pay you. Because if you don't screen and you just find any old person just to,
Warm body.
yeah, right. Who is going to just come and stay in your rent out your place, but then you find out they don't want to pay? That is going to be more costly and more expensive. So in the long term, as you are looking to, you want to be a landlord one day, but that's great. But it does have advantages and disadvantages. So those are some of the pitfalls that you just want to be mindful of. That you just don't want to, you want to screen your tenants as much as possible, get all their track records, their, police records, police checks, because, because you never know. You want to safeguard yourself at the same time. You want to safeguard, you don't want to pocket out all the money. And so, this is what I learned a lot the hard way. But, it's a lesson learned. And if you're not willing to learn, then you'll never learn. But if you learn and you don't make those mistakes, how you can safeguard your mistakes for, both those pitfalls that, Maria just mentioned, is that you can start to, really help yourself. And how you can help yourself is by, really not, by screening tenants. So that's what I would say, Ria, is that, you need to like safeguard yourself. You need to like really protect yourself. And the only way you can do that is, you just got to make sure that you get good tenants.
That's right. And they should continue to listen to us because we are sharing books that we read, and we're also sharing our experiences as a landlord. So they do not do what we have experienced.
Exactly. Well, thank you for sharing, Ria. That was amazing. And, as always, just let us know what was your highlight of the conversation. And, that's always good, because this really helps you to gain the knowledge that we're sharing with you, so that you can go out and then you can, take actions as to what you don't need to do, what you do need to do, so that, you are equipped for your success. So we've come to the end of another amazing show. That was just so super awesome. And we always want to help you to gain knowledge in every facet of your life, so that you are equipped and you gain the knowledge, and now you go out and you take actions, whether it comes to real estate, whether it comes to mindset, which is what I talk about. If you are taking actions and you go out and do what I tell you to do, how you can improve your mindset, how you can improve, so that you can start to really have those challenges and accept them in your thinking, acting, and your behaviors. So thank you for joining in, guys. We've come to the end of another amazing show, but always stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you at the same time, same place tomorrow morning. But at the end, make the rest of the day the best of your day, and we will see you soon.